So working on the fingerless glove, the last segment we showed you, or I showed you, the chain, and I showed you the single crochet to make the ribbing. So a single crochet, when you start it in the back loop, and every time you turn, you do a single crochet in the back loop, you get a ribbing, very similar to the ribbing that you get when you do knitting. This is the completed ribbing for the fingerless glove, and it will be tied together here. And what we're going to do is just sew it with our knitting. It's a knitting sewing needle, and I like the mattress stitch the most. I find that it really gives a clean look to the fingerless glove. And so you can see this is where my seam is, and it's barely noticeable. So we want to keep up with that look. And to do the mattress stitch, you can hold these together, right sides together, and I do so left-handed, even though I crochet right-handed. And so you're just going to start right at one end. So if you're right-handed, you're going to start sewing on the right end. I'm left-handed, so I start on the left end. And I'm actually just going to do one back stitch in through the loops that are here. There are many ways that you can do this. You also can slip stitch all the way up. That would give your fingerless glove a little bit of a different look. However, I really like the professional look that the mattress stitch gives, and so I stick with that. So once I've done a little back stitch here, I went over it 2 times. I bring the needle up, and instead of going through here, I'm going to go through a loop on the opposite side and bring that yarn up. And when we're done, we'll sew in these little threads. So those are just the ends, and sewing them in keeps it neat. Once we've brought the yarn up just on this end here, then we're going to go over to this side, and we're going to go in one loop and out the other loop, still on one side of the wristband. This is really giving me trouble. There we go. And again, we're going to cross over, and we're going to go in through a loop and draw up the yarn. And again, we're going to go in one loop and come out over here. And so you can see this is tightening up as we're going, and it just really gives it a seamless look. So that we can finish it up nicely. Now I've left a loop here for me to continue with the next stitch, but I left it for 2 reasons. I traditionally fasten off once I finish the wristband so that I don't have this loop while I'm trying to sew. I have found, I don't think it really makes a difference. On the finished glove, you can see right here, I picked up the 24 stitches, and it blends in fine. And I have a sample that I've already done to show you the increase, and I also put on the 24 stitches for the wrist without using the same color. So I think that it's a design choice, and so you can choose which you want to do. So we have we've come up to the end, and I've back stitched, and I'm just going to drop this, and you would cut this thread and then weave it in. But now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up this loop, and I'm going to show you how to pick up the 24 stitches. So you should have about 24 rows here, and you do want to fit it to your wrist. So if you have a bigger wrist, you might need 25 rows, you might need 30 rows. I would say keep a count of how many rows you have, and that's how many single crochets you're going to pick up after you sew the seam. And so I'm going to turn this so that we don't have any loose threads. Now, all you're going to do is, when you look at the top, there are open loops, and you're just going to single crochet in each of them until you have 24 stitches. It should work out evenly because there should be one loop at the end of each row that you did a ribbing for. So it should be fairly easy to slip right into these stitches. And the reason why we do it this way is in order to make the ribbing, we have to go back and forth this way, sideways. So once we finish the ribbing, we turn it right side up so that we can make the rest of this glove. And so I'll just go ahead and single crochet all the way over. And before I slip stitch to join this, I'm just going to go back and count my stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I think I might have made this a little smaller, but we'll get in our 24 stitches. And then we're just going to join right here with a slip stitch. Okay, so once we have done this, we're back on track to finish the glove, and we are going to do 4 rows of single crochet, and then we're going to do 1 row of a double crochet to add some height, and then we are going to do an increase stitch. So I'm going to put this down. Take the hook because this is the one I'm using, and I have already made here in a different color. I'm in between this and this stitch. So here I have the 24 rows of ribbing, 24 stitches of single crochet, and you can see that I did it in the same color. So these will be a pair. And I have now done all the stitches that I need to begin doing an increase. And so I'm going to show you how to do the increase and how to make the thumb loop.